What is going on, Notre Dame football fans? Mike Singer live on the Blue and Gold YouTube channel with no Kyle Kelly. What a shame we don't have Kyle today. I think he was swimming with some dolphins or shaking some politicians' hands and rubbing some elbows. He was doing something. He's quite a big deal, but we do not have the great Kyle Kelly. So you guys are stuck with just me today, and I am going to ask you to hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the Blue and Gold YouTube channel for more content. The Shamrock behind me is not plugged in, but we just plug it in. We have, boom, the lit up Shamrock. We have to add that to the backdrop. Eric, I am taking questions from in here. So if you're in the live chat, post your questions. Would look forward to answering that. See Biggs, and I see Eric number 2. Looking forward to today's show. And it is sponsored by Academy Sports and Outdoors, and Academy is proudly honoring our brave military and first responders for everything they do to protect our nation and serve local communities. Their unmatched dedication and countless sacrifices deserve recognition. From October 19th through November 11th, Academy is giving them a salute with 10% off sports and outdoors purchases at a local Academy stores and online at academy.com/discount. Exclusions apply. Thank you, Academy, for what you're doing there, and thank you for sponsoring this show. I did want to start off by discussing Notre Dame's recruiting weekend. It is not a gigantic one in terms of numbers of top targets and commits. Look, Notre Dame pushed that for the USC and Texas A&M recruiting weekends, but it is there's some big time prospects coming to campus, and I have, let's see, like 6 or 7 prospects to discuss, and you can find the full list with some notes on each of them over on the website, of course, blueandgold.com. A great time to subscribe. Let me pull up an offer for you guys to check out. I could have sworn I tweeted it. I sure did. There it is. Your Blue and Gold membership starts at just $1 for the first week, and we'll throw in a complimentary year of access to The Athletic. I feel like that's a pretty great deal. $1 a week and get the full year of access to The Athletic. So check that out. Details at blueandgold.com. So recruiting weekend, let's talk about that. Notre Dame quarterback commit Teddy Gerard visited for the Notre Dame Texas A&M game back in September, but did not get to go to the USC game. So I know he's really excited to come for the Navy game this Saturday. He'll definitely have his recruiting hat on. Big visit upcoming, of course, for Gerard. Like, he always wants to be recruiting for the Fighting Irish. So that's obviously notable. Tyler Fryman, I know this picture here. He looks like a baby. But this dude is a baller. A Louisville baseball commit. Recently got ratings from Rivals and 24/7. Which I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I don't like how the Rivals industry ranking does this. So Rivals, he's got a 90 grade, right? We all get caught up in the stars and the national rankings, but the grade to me is more important, and the positional grade. So he's got a 90 grade, which is a low 4-star. But that is normal. For the younger the kids are, the lower the grade is. Like, they don't want to slap on like a 95 grade. Like, I think it's a 97 or 98's a 5-star. You don't want to slap on like a 97 just to drop them. So you start lower and you kind of incrementally raises. Is that the word I'm looking for? So he's number 119 overall by Rivals, 20 wide receiver, and then 24/7 also has a 90 grade, but a little bit lower in the national rankings, 192 and 26 wide receiver. But because ESPN, which I don't think this is a secret, that it's pretty bad. The ESPN rankings, they're just, I mean, maybe the scouting is fine, but I'm sure it's like a 1 or 2 man department. Like they don't, and is that even their full time gig is to do their rankings? Like ESPN is so slow to get kids graded. So Fryman, again, 6'1", 180 pounds, wide receiver, 27 class from Fort Mitchell, Kentucky, Beechwood High School, gets docked in his rivals industry ranking, is the number 305 overall player and number 37 wide receiver because ESPN hasn't graded him yet. I think that's bizarre, considering ESPN is always late. So, yeah, I think that Fryman, you look at the industry ranking, but I think you look more closely at the rivals in 247 rankings for him because the rivals industry ranking is not going to be very accurate right now because ESPN hasn't graded him because ESPN is just going to ESPN. But Fryman is a Louisville baseball commit, and I do believe his expectation is to play football for the Cardinals as well. But he's visited Notre Dame a couple of times now. He was on campus for the Texas A&M game and then also for a camp back in June in South Bend, and that's when he got his offer from Notre Dame. So Fryman, I think if the Irish were to make like a big push for him, I could definitely see him landing at Notre Dame. Also visiting Notre Dame this weekend is Titus Hawk, a 6'7", 210 pounds tight end. And folks, for just joining us, please hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the Blue and Gold YouTube channel for more content. We'll be taking live questions in just a minute. I also tweeted out, hey, ask me questions, post it on our Blue and Gold message board. So we will get to your questions in just a bit. Bo, good to see you in the chat. Titus Hawk, we saw him at Irish Invasion. It was a loaded group with Seneca Driver and Jackson Dollar, and it was a big time tight end group at Irish Invasion that day. And Titus Hawk was there, and he was maybe not as polished as a pass catcher as those guys, but man, just a freakazoid looking athlete. 6'7", again, 210 pounds, nation's number 211 prospect, and number 14 tight end nationally. I would have to disagree with the Rivals 3-star ranking, but I think you watch this kid's junior tape, you'll be pretty impressed. So he's coming to South Bend. Leighton Von Brandt, number 44 overall player, number 6 offensive tackle, a former Penn State commit, visiting on Saturday. Has not received an offer from the Fighting Irish yet, but I would be pretty stunned if he leaves campus on Saturday without an offer from the Irish. Quick coffee sip. 6'5.5", 255 pounds. I feel like that kid's bigger than 255 pounds, but this is a big time prospect. Notre Dame really, really likes him. Has been recruiting him since James Franklin got fired, and maybe even before that. But I know it heated up after Franklin got fired over at Penn State. Von Brandt on offer watch this weekend. The highest ranked prospect visiting South Bend this weekend is Caden Henderson, 6'2", 200-pound linebacker from Tampa Jesuit in the 27 class, number 24 overall player, and the number 2 linebacker according to the Rivals industry ranking. And you look at the other rankings. Of course, the industry ranking compiles Rivals 24/7, and ESPN weighs them equally and spits out the industry ranking, a top 3 linebacker in the country by all 3 websites. So, big time prospect. Looking forward to catching up with Henderson after his visits. This will be his first time on campus. Sticking with the defense, got a few more. Matt Sieg is how you pronounce his last name, which is baller. What an awesome last name. Matt Sieg. His name is Matt Sieg. Awesome. Penn State commit since November of 2024 from Fort Cherry High School in McDonald, PA, 191 overall player, number 19 safety. Opened up his recruitment after Penn State, fired James Franklin, and Notre Dame actually offered him earlier this year and tried to get into that recruitment. He was firm with his Nittany Lions pledge, but of course that changed when Franklin got let go. So Indiana, West Virginia, and Pittsburgh, some other schools involved with SIG. Notre Dame hosting him this weekend, and I am fascinated to see where it goes from here because Notre Dame's got 5 defensive backs committed. They took 6 last year. Are they wanting to take another defensive back in SIG? I think we'll learn a lot more about how interested the both parties are in each other after this weekend. I believe this is Sig's first recruiting visit to South Bend. I want to say Kyle Kelly wrote that maybe when he was younger, he did like a tournament or something, like a lacrosse thing or something at Notre Dame. I maybe you're misremembering that completely, but big visit for Sig this upcoming weekend. Xavier Hassan from Raleigh, North Carolina, Cardinal Gibbons, number 7 cornerback in the country, number 43 overall player in the 27 class. So Sig, of course, a 2026 prospect, let me add. Everyone else we're talking about in this video, or excuse me, at least for this visit weekend, is a 27. Sig, the lone 26, and I'm sure I will answer more questions about Sig here in a bit. But Xavier Hassan, I have predicted him to Notre Dame. A few weeks ago, I logged, was it 9 predictions, maybe 10 for Notre Dame in the 27 class, and Hassan was one of them. And, at the time, it was kind of like a pretty bold one. He's got Georgia, he's got all the schools in the Carolinas. I know he likes Tennessee, like he's got all those schools. But projecting this Raleigh kid to Notre Dame was a bold one. But visited for the A&M game. We thought he might visit. I can't remember if it's the USC game or if it was for another one, but we thought he might be coming for that one, and then he didn't get to make it. But he confirmed with me last night he's coming to Notre Dame this weekend. I think that is significant. Xavier Hassan, and an elite cornerback. Mike Mickens does a tremendous job recruiting. Him getting back to South Bend a second time this fall, I think is significant. So a big visit to watch there. And a Tennessee commit, Kamari Whitfield. This prospect does not hold an offer from the Irish, but Whitfield from Orlando, the first academy, committed to the Vols on October 15th. So just a very recent commit for Tennessee, but he is still out on the recruiting trail. So 3-star prospect, number 47 corner per that Rivals industry ranking. A 3-star prospect across the board, but visiting Notre Dame this weekend, we'll see if he adds an offer from the Irish. So that is, again, there's more visitors coming to town this weekend, but that's the quick rundown of some of the top names to know. Quick water sip. Thank you for bearing with me. Kyle Kelly, I think they said he was signing some kind of peace treaty or something, or he was meeting with a billionaire or millionaire, something. He's on a yacht. Kyle Kelly is a world traveler, and he was too big time to join the show. I'm just joking around. All right, folks. Of course, Augie's Locker Room is the unique Notre Dame memorabilia shop. Excuse me. Just down the street from Notre Dame, 1733 North Ironwood Drive in South Bend. So if you're coming into town for the game this weekend or whatever the case may be, you got to check out Augie's Locker Room. Always getting in new stuff. I mean, look at the mini helmets he's got signed. JD Bertrand, Stephon Tuitt, Jack Kaiser, and Manti. How about that? Certified and everything by JSA. Manti's, and we keep going. Brian, Julius Jones, ESQ. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's got the Steve Angeli. There it is, Biggs. Kyle's getting the deal done with Google and Disney. I love it. Oh my God. Who's going to buy this for me? $135. A Steve Angeli Notre Dame mini helmet signed. Who's doing it? If we get that thing, I got the Notre Dame helmet right here. That thing, I will burn the Dolphins helmet live on stream. We'll put the Steve helmet right there forever. Come on. Wow. I need that. Eric, I love you, brother. Pitching 25. Bro, I need it. And how about this? The Brian Kelly one is cheaper. Okay, Killface. Killface, aren't you too busy saying fire Chris Ash? Speaking of firing things, burning things, Come on, get out of here, Killface. I was joking. I'm not burning my Dolphins helmet. Get out of here. The Brian Kelly helmet is cheaper than the Steve Angeli helmet. Wow. Jalen Sneed, X Watts, Kyle Rudolph. I mean, this is all new. Audric Estimate, Jimmy Clausen, Gabe Rubio, Michael Floyd, and Ian Book. I mean, this is awesome stuff. So Auggie'sLockerRoom.com. Check it out. 1733 North Ironwood Drive. Give Auggie a call, 574-277-6363. We really do need to make a little fund for Singer to get this Steve Angeli mini helmet. Wow. Love it. All right. Let's get to some questions. We're going to start off with a couple on the board that popped up. Singer, Marcus, I got to think about pronouncing this name because I don't want to drop a curse word on here, right? Marcus Fakatu? He is 6'7", 295 pounds. He did just reclassify from 2028 to 2027 when he was committed in the when he was in the 28 class. He was the number 4 overall player and the number 1 defensive lineman in that class, reclassified. That's what I'm telling you guys about how the industry ranking works. How is he ranked as a top 60 player by Rivals at 24/7, but ESPN doesn't rank him? That docks him to 282. I feel like that's getting a 0 on a test. But I'm gonna just leave it at that. I just really disagree with how that's done. But maybe there's reasons for that are unbeknownst to me. But anyways, does it make a difference that he reclassified? Is it good or is it bad? I think it is good because it is not this isn't taking Notre Dame by surprise. This has been in the works for several months. Josh, what's going on? Yeah. Eric is laughing at me saying 6'7". What does that mean? Why is that funny? 6'7"? I don't get it. Marcus, yeah, him reclassifying, I feel like has been discussed since before the summer. Quick coffee sip. So it's totally good. I like where Notre Dame stands for him. I think Oregon is the other big contender. We'll see if USC can become a bigger one, but I really think it's going to be Notre Dame or Oregon. And we do have another question on Marcus here in a bit. Eric asked about Keemon Spell, of course, the 5-star running back from the Pittsburgh area. The update on him, and I wrote about this at Blue and Gold, so you would have gotten this a couple days ago, is he was supposed to visit Ohio State last week, and he didn't. And Ohio State writer Jeremy Birmingham, who I respect a ton, wrote that he felt that was pretty significant. And I am going to just kind of leave it at that and go to blueandgold.com. And you'll find it in a Lucky Charms article from a couple days ago. So pretty, I would say, positive update from a Fighting Irish standpoint. That's Keemon Spell. All right, now we're going to go to the message board. Did ask some Notre Dame fans on there for questions. Yeah, and here we go from Bo, who I know is in the chat. With Marcus Fakatu seemingly so big on the SEC hype, do you realistically believe he's still a strong Notre Dame lean? My vibe on this for Marcus is that I think he wants to go experience the SEC schools. His visits to this point that are recorded are 4 to USC, 3 to Notre Dame, 2 to Nebraska, 1 to Arizona, 1 to Oklahoma, once Michigan, once Penn State, once Oregon. In other words, the kid has 1 SEC visit under his belt. I think he wants to go experience the SEC, but I think at the end of the day, it's Notre Dame or Oregon, and I do believe that he is leaning towards Notre Dame. When are you going to do your next round of predictions after the last home game? Predictions are, I like to do that big, between August and October round of predictions where I'll do like 7 or 9 or 10 or whatever. But otherwise, there's no real rhyme or reason. It just kind of how recruitments trend. Rich Starkey, I haven't heard about Sam Lejeune lately, a defensive line prospect in the 27 class from Mississippi, I believe. I haven't either, so I have nothing to add on him. Does junior Tui Halamaka's little brother end up at Notre Dame? Ali Filiti, Tui Halamaka, stay out west. I don't know. I have heard really good things about where Notre Dame stands for the younger two Halamaka. But I honestly don't have a strong feeling on if he's going to stay out west or not. But I know that Notre Dame has really good communication with him. The kid's been to Notre Dame a bunch. When Junior was being recruited by Notre Dame in the 2022 class, Freeman was still the defensive coordinator. That kid was going on those trips. So he's got a pretty strong foundation with Notre Dame. Rich also says, I'm a big fan of Amari Irvin, who was is the 2027 linebacker from IMG Academy in Bradenton, originally a South Florida native. Would you say he's a slight lean to Notre Dame? Is there a timeline for a commitment? Who's the biggest competition? His older brother, Cedric Irvin Jr., who was committed to Notre Dame in the 23 class, and the two parties parted ways. Irvin is now a running back at Stanford. We should see him on the field this fall when the two teams play. Big said, by the way, a former Michigan State running back, played in the league for a few years. Awesome guy. I do think he's a slight lean to Notre Dame. I would probably even say like a good lean to Notre Dame. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's even a little bit more than a slight lean. I've predicted him to Notre Dame. I feel really good about that one. Don't know about a timetable for the commitment. And then the biggest competition, I honestly don't remember. I honestly don't remember. Amari Irvin. It's been to, Miami, Florida. Florida doesn't even have a head coach. Maybe Miami. So this is Amari Irvin, 5'11", 215 pounds, number 196 overall player, number 12 linebacker per the industry ranking. So Miami, I guess. I don't know. It's still pretty early in that recruitment, Rich. RRH1, Darion Prescott. Kyle Kelly reported on Prescott. I honestly don't know. First Brigade, another safety target in 2026 versus a third defensive tackle. The tricky thing about this is Notre Dame is just so full. They have 27 commits. Like they've pretty much hit on what they wanted to accomplish in this class. Quick water sip. Excuse me. That it's really about best available. So it's not like, oh, we need a third defensive tackle, let's go get one. It is, who is the best available that is going to improve our roster? It's not like, hey, let's just take this guy just for the sake of taking a guy. It's no, does this player improve our team? If they think Sig improves their team, you go get Sig. Do they need another safety? Not necessarily, not by the numbers. No. Do you know that, of their 6 DB commits, probably all of them could play safety? Joey O'Brien, Aiden Pouncey, Kari Adams, Nick Reddish. All these guys can play safety. They don't need another safety. But would Matt Sig help their football team? If the answer is yes, go get him. If from Mav29, if Notre Dame makes the playoffs 2 years in a row, how would that impact the 27 and 28 classes versus missing the playoff this year? It's a good one because did the playoff run help the 2025 class? No, right? Signing days in early December, right? Those kids were already signed for Notre Dame, played Indiana. But look at how much it's helped the 2026 class. Notre Dame's got the number 4 class in the country. It's on pace to be the best class in a dozen years. Could be up to 5 or 6 5 stars, potentially 5 or 6 5 stars. It's This is an incredible class. So if they make the playoffs again, make a little noise, win a game or two, who knows, make the title game, how would that impact the next couple classes? Use your imagination. The bench line is set for this 26 class of like Notre Dame makes a big playoff run. How does that impact the 26 class? You just saw it. So Notre Dame does that again for 27. And like you look at the impact early on in 27 too. Like Notre Dame's, feels like Notre Dame's attracting more elite visitors than they have in years past for that high school junior class. So use your imagination. Compared to missing the playoffs, Notre Dame's still going to recruit at a good clip, but just not as high as making these playoff runs. FW coach, with all the momentum in 2027, are you surprised there are not more commitments? I know it's still early, but the heat seems to be an inferno. I mean, I'm glad Kyle Kelly's not here because I feel like he would probably lose his mind with this question. So no disrespect to the question being asked or the person who asked it, but I know Kyle kind of lost his patience earlier this year when we got so many questions about why isn't Notre Dame getting commits. It's been months since Notre Dame got a commit in the 26th class. What's going on? Recruiting has hit the shit's hit the fan. Oh man, we don't have Chad Bowden. Or hey, does this recruiting staff know what they're doing? Guys, look where we are now. So I will say this until I'm blue in the face or purple in the face, right? Shout out Brian Kelly. It doesn't matter when they commit. It matters who commits. Notre Dame's going to be fine. They're going to have a great 2027 class. So don't you worry about that. So no, I'm not surprised there's not more commitments. Notre Dame's got what, 5 or 4 commits, including their elite quarterback in the 27 class, Teddy Gerard. So no concern there. If Penn State manages to snag Brian Hartline as their next head coach, do you think Jameer Brown will decommit from Ohio State? I don't. I think it opens the door more, but I don't think that's going to like lead to an immediate decommitment for Brown from Ohio State or anything like that. But it'll be obviously really interesting to see. Besides SIG, do you think Notre Dame moves on to any? This is from Java 65 on the message board. Do you think Notre Dame moves on any other 2026 recruits? Not looking for names, just curious if Notre Dame is still open for 26 recruits. Like I said, it's all about best available. If something opens up to really improve Notre Dame's roster in this 2026 class, I do think that Notre Dame will be open to that, but it's not as much positions. Okay. That's the vibe I'm getting. And I think SIG is a great example of that. You don't need a safety in 26. You got safeties. But SIG's a big-time player, man. He's awesome. So, yeah, it's just tough to say because the class is so full. But can you kind of wiggle things around, make some things work? That's what is kind of to be determined. So yeah, I really I don't even know if they'll end up with SIG in this class. And that's not to be like, well, if they don't get SIG, then they will be able to take someone else because they didn't get SIG. It's not even really how it works. They're full as is. They would really be stretching it if they take SIG. And then someone after SIG would be stretching it even more. Updates on linebacker recruiting in the 27 class, asks Jolly Roger from the Blue and Gold message board. Would love to have all of you on our message board, blueandgold.com. Subscribe to the Loose Emoji board. We've got a pretty cool deal with the Athletic going. When you subscribe, you can get access to the Athletic as well. More details, blueandgold.com. Hit that join button. And, of course, hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the channel for more content. If you're wondering where Kyle Kelly is, I think he's having lunch with Marcus Freeman, and Pete Bavacqua. I'm joking. Kyle's out today. He's traveling, so you guys are just stuck with me. But yeah, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more content. Yeah, we talked about Caden Henderson. Of course, Ellis McGaskin is a commit for Notre Dame in the 27 class. He visited Mississippi State earlier in the fall and then was just at LSU. the weekend that Brian Kelly got fired, interestingly enough, but McGaskin is in South Bend this weekend, which I think is notable. But otherwise, nothing super new to report on there. Garyon Hobbs is a linebacker from Louisville. He's also going to be on campus. He's one to watch. Talked about Amari Irvin. So I think that they're in a pretty solid spot with 2027 linebacker recruiting. Coffee sip. Coffee is lukewarm. What is worse than lukewarm coffee? A lot of things. But give it to me cold or give it to me hot. The lukewarm coffee, I'll still drink it though. Not gonna lie. AB10 says, does Freeman get it flexibility from an academic standpoint than Kelly, or is he just working harder? I know he is working harder, just not sure if that's all of it. I think it's a little bit of both. I do think that there's a little bit more flexibility. I think it might be a situation where there's just a better relationship between those on the football side and those on the academic side who talk about these things. I think that's part of it. I really do. I think they just work better together. But I also think there's part of it that I think that Notre Dame does push the envelope a little bit more. I think that maybe in the Kelly years that there's more of a, I just don't think this kid can, like maybe he's on the fringe, but we don't want to push it. And I think that was happening a lot. And from Jerboski, will Notre Dame make a more, well, maybe he meant make a move, a little typo. Will Notre Dame make a move for a quarterback 26 class, Bell, someone else? I have talked. I check in on this all of the time. Will Notre Dame take another 2026 quarterback? And I know one of my competitors thinks that it's very, very possible that Notre Dame does. I don't have anything to report on it. I do not think they're going to. I check on this all of the time, and I don't think it's going to happen. I do not think that Notre Dame is going to take another quarterback in the 2026 class. That could change, but thinking Diabell, unless Sark's leaving, which I don't think he is, it's just not going to happen. I think that they could get like a nice quality walk-on. I think that if you can get Tommy Carr and, make that worth his time, right? To go from where's Tommy, CJ's little brother? He's committed to like Miami of Ohio or something. He's having a really good senior year. If you could get like a Tommy Carr to come on like some kind of rally deal or something where it's maybe not a scholarship spot, but you're going to get all of, or if not all, some of your scholarship paid for, or tuition or whatever. I think that's worth it. Or if Kenny is to leave, like let's say Kenny leaves, right, which is a very strong possibility. Your quarterback depth next year is CJ Carr, Blake Hebert, an incoming quarterback, Noah Groves, Eric Hansen. It's the circle of life. If this is the real Eric Hansen, Eric, what is going on? Tommy is committed to Miami of Ohio. You're joining at a great time, Eric. Okay, so that would be your three. You have Carr, who's a superstar, Hebert, who is going to be a redshirt freshman with no real game experience, right? And then Noah Grubbs. In my opinion, do you take a second quarterback in the 26 class to now have 4 scholarship quarterbacks? That doesn't help you for the 2026 season, though. You have 4 scholarship quarterbacks, but no experience, literally 0 experience behind Carr. So in my opinion, I would rather take a FCS quarterback or like a Division II quarterback who has experience and loves Notre Dame, that they would give their left arm and just be a one-arm quarterback. I'm joking. But you got like that player who just wants to be at Notre Dame so badly. If that guy is out there, think like a Max Hurlman. I've actually talked about this a bunch. Think Max Hurlman, who returned punts for Notre Dame last year. Maybe he should have been playing more receiver last year. The kid's talent. That guy needs to come to Notre Dame's quarterback room, right? Maybe he's got a full beard, right? He's got some hair on his chest. You don't want him to start games, right? But you don't want Blake Hebert to start games for you next year either. Right? Knock on wood, CJ Carr's health, and knock on wood for his health for the rest of this year. Obviously, you have Kenny Minchie, so I'm not going to go down that. But anyways, you do want experience in QB2, right? You had Angeli for years. You felt good if your QB1 went down with Angeli. If Kenny goes, which Kenny has every right to go and start somewhere. Kenny's a great quarterback. That was a real competition between him and Carr. But unless Hebert's a stud, and he might be. He was committed to Clemson. Notre Dame flipped them after Deuce Knight left. Maybe Hebert is the guy. Maybe he's the answer. But the Notre Dame staff has to know that. Like you have to know what you have in Hebert. You've seen him practice for a year and all that. If you feel confident with him as QB2, great. But if not, I really do feel like you need to go get that Max Hurlman as a quarterback. Right on. Like Trinidad Chambliss over at Ole Miss. There you go. So Eric Hansen says this is the real Eric Hansen. If you were the fake Eric Hansen, isn't that what you would say though? Folks, it feels right having college football back, and we're kind of late in the season. So if you need to hit another game this season and you need some tickets, try out GameTime.co, not .com, .co. Tailgates, the smell of the grill, the roar of the crowd at kickoff. Nothing beats being at a game in person, but getting those tickets can be an absolute nightmare. You have the endless queue, surprise fees, prices jumping before checkout, when all you want to do is be in the stands with other fans. That's why you got to check out Game Time, which gives the advantage back to you, the fan. It's the hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's incredibly easy to use. The Game Time guarantee means you can trust that you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. Plus, fees are always included, so what you see is what you pay. I pulled up the Game Time app recently to check out some upcoming events, and there was tickets starting around $25. Very simple to use, easy to browse. You can compare seats and actually see the view from the seat before you purchase. The whole process will just take a couple of minutes. I love the zone deals. You pick the section. Game Time will pick your seats so you can save even more, and you can follow your favorite teams to get alerts when prices drop. And everything is backed by the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the promo code ON3 for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code ON3 for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. Circle of Life. That shows it's me, and I know your love of kicker stories. All right, listen, Eric. I know it too. I need to shout out Eric Hansen. So after this show, I got to record a video with Tyler James previewing the Navy game, and then I record our Notre Dame Insider video. It's with me, Horka, and Hansen. We take 3 topics, and they kind of talk about, hey, this is what's been going on in the press conferences on these items. This is kind of what we're hearing behind the scenes. It's a great video. I think it's our highest performing video every single week. And Eric early in the season was like, hey, I think the third topic should be about kickers. This kicker thing. And I'm like, Eric, don't give a shit about the kickers. Sorry for cussing. I don't want to talk about kickers. It's not that interesting. It's kickers. I didn't say it combative like that, but I was like, I don't want to talk about kickers. To Eric's credit, the kicking discussion is now the number one thing. And Eric has been on the kicking talk all season. So, Eric, if you're still here, I got to tip the cap to you. You were right. We should have been talking about the kickers from the beginning. And I gave Eric crap for the kicker stuff. But here we are. I am now putting kickers on the thumbnail of videos. What a time. Let me Kickers, man. Got to get it right. Eric Schmidt, a freshman. Notre Dame flipped them from Wisconsin late in the 2025 cycle, is going to start for Notre Dame against Navy. More information about that over at blueandgold.com. Got a couple more questions from Twitter, and then one other thing I wanted to talk about. And then I am going to scroll the YouTube chat to see if there's anything that I wanted to talk about. So if you have any other questions, we're going to go a few more minutes in the show. Please drop your questions in the live chat. And if you haven't done so yet, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Again, Kyle's not with us today. I think he was having lunch with Kate Upton and Justin Verlander, something like that. First things are popping in my head. Yeah, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more content. If you're listening to this as a podcast, appreciate you as well. Please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast. Notre Dame has a 74% blue chip ratio in the 26 class, which is really, really good. So Rivals tweeted this out. The teams with the highest percentage of blue chip commits. Oregon at 89% is very good. But my question right away in seeing that is how many commits do they have? And Oregon has 18 commits. So now that's a little less impressive. If you would have had 27, like 26, 27 commits, that would have been a lot more impressive. But 18, not as impressive. But still, 89% obviously is really, really good. Georgia, 80%. A&M, 77%. LSU, 76%. I mean, LSU keeping their class together after Brian Kelly left is reminiscent of Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame and that class sticking together. I mean, you had like Amarion Walker and I mean, there were some decommits, CJ Williams, but Notre Dame only signed one receiver in that class, but those guys were all even if Brian Kelly was the head coach or not. So I'm not too, I don't take a whole lot of stock in that, but yeah, LSU, it just goes to show that Brian Kelly does not have an impact on recruiting, which is not a good thing. If Marcus Freeman were to leave tomorrow, how much of an impact do you think that would have on Notre Dame's 26th class? A lot. I would think so. He's a great recruiter. He's a big deal. Kids commit to Notre Dame to play for Marcus Freeman. Are kids committing to LSU? There you go. Kyle's on a date with City Sweeney. Biggs, thank you. Thank you. My old head goes to Kate Upton. There you go. Are kids committing to LSU for Brian Kelly? No, they're just not. They're just not. So LSU's class staying together strong. But yeah, Notre Dame at 74% is very, very good. So blue chip ratio, if you don't know what it means, it is, so Notre Dame's got 27 commitments. How many of them are 4 or a 5-star? And for Notre Dame, 74% of those 27. So to kind of compare, what has that looked like in recent years for Notre Dame? Let's look at the 2025 class. A 56% blue chip ratio, which is good, not great. Okay. My zoom in button is bugged. 2024, 57%. 2023, 78%. Very, very strong for the Irish in the 23 class. And that was an awesome class. It finished number 10, but it was a great class. 2022 was an awesome class for Notre Dame with Jalen Sneed, Emil Wagner, Ben Morrison was in that group. Awesome class. Billy Shrout, Josh Burnham. 77% very good. 2021 class, 48%. Also, that was the COVID recruiting class, but a high group of 3 stars. 2020 class, 59. So when you get over 70%, you're looking at a really impressive class. And let me add this. The 2022 class that had 77% only had 22 commits. So you're looking at 5 more players in this class. And it's at 74. The higher number of commits, the more likely you're just going to have more 3 stars. But Notre Dame, my phone is blowing up. I need to take my watch off. My watch is buzzing the entire show. So 22 commits in the 22 class, and I want to say it was very similar to 23 commits in the 23 class. I think that number is just it's very impressive for Notre Dame. A couple questions from Twitter. My buddy Ross says, any chances we move the needle on 1 or 2 more decommits in the 26 class? Yeah, I kind of talked about this earlier. I think it's Sig, or it might be Sig or bust, or it might be no one else, because Notre Dame does not have any prospects who look like they're decommitting. Any commits? All of the Notre Dame commits appear solid. Joey O'Brien looks good. Corey Adams looks good. Aiden Pouncey. These are all guys that other programs would like to flip from Notre Dame. I get it that the kids might say one thing and then still decommit, but follow the visits. Actions speak louder than words. Have you heard about any Notre Dame commits visiting any other schools? No. It is not a white band, Biggs. I took off the white band because Robbie Toma made fun of me. So Notre Dame's class is, it's sitting pretty. Sig would be a nice addition, but that he's really the only one that we know about that Notre Dame is still in contact with. And then there was one other question from Justin. I only got two responses on this one. Big time journalist over here. Everyone wants to ask me questions. Justin says over under 1.5 commits in the 27 class from Chicago Mount Carmel. So this is an interesting one. Got Quentin Burrell, 2027 4-star wide receiver. Roman Egwabike. We'll go with that. Love this 4-star linebacker. Tavares Harrington, a 4-star safety. And that is it for 27 targets for Notre Dame at Mount Carmel. Notre Dame's offered all these guys. I would personally set the over-under at a 0.5. I have a prediction for Notre Dame to land Burrell, but it's close between Notre Dame and Michigan. Roman, the kid's got like 40-something offers. He's just got his offer from Notre Dame in September. Way too early to tell. I think that's early days in his recruitment. Tavares Harrington, Steve Wiltfong's predicted him to Notre Dame. He's listed as a safety. Notre Dame likes him at corner. If I'm recalling that correctly, Kyle Kelly reports on him more than I do. I could see Notre Dame landing all three of these kids. I could see Notre Dame landing 0 of these kids. So I would say under 1.5, but I think they'll land 1 of that 3. Okay. All right, let me scroll the YouTube chat to see if there's anything I missed. We talked about Sig. Let me just scroll and see. Out of the 26 and 27 classes, which legacy recruit do you think could make the greatest impact? We're talking Notre Dame legacy? Or are we talking just NFL legacy? If it's NFL legacy, I think Caden Finley's going to be a star. Devin Fitzgerald I really like. Because there's no... I'm scrolling the 26th class. The only Notre Dame legacy in the 26th class, unless I am just really missing here, the only Notre Dame legacy commit is Charlie Tong. His mom went to school at Notre Dame. Otherwise, he's the only one. And then 27, the only one is Richie Flanagan. And James Halter. I forgot about Halter. Both of their dads played at Notre Dame. So if it's Notre Dame legacy, I would probably say Halter. Flanagan's really good too. Tom's a baller in the 26th class. He's going to be really good. I don't know about Joe Alt good. I know that's, because of his tight end background, people want to say Alt, but he is really freaking good. Aussie Family says, I have a question. As reporters, have you seen any difference between GMs this much time in recruiting wise? Yeah, I think this is just my opinion from watching and talking to the kids and kind of reading in between the line how the staffs operate. I think that the Bowden-led recruiting office was very reliant on Bowden making things happen. Right? I think that he led so much of that. Now I think that Mike Martin he has the same title as Chad Bowden, but man, I don't know that they do the same job. I don't. I feel like there's parts that they do the same thing, but I feel like Martin leans more roster management and overseeing and not as much like day-to-day relationship building. That's more Carter Aumann, but then also Jordan Blake, I believe his title's DPP, and also Myron Tagovailoa Mosa. So I feel like it's spread across more more people have an impact than it just being like if it's like a pie chart of like the most impactful recruiting office staffers. I feel like before's heavily towards Chad, and now it's like Carter, it's Myron, it's Jordan Blake, it's Justice Bathis. You guys know Tim Brown's son works in the Notre Dame recruiting office? Did you know that? He's involved. Maybe it's more on campus and things like that. But and then Mike Martin, it helps close recruits. So that's what my answer would be to that. I do not think they answer YouTube questions in this video, says the person I just asked answered a question for. You just gotta wait for me. So, all right. One more board question, Andrew says. All right, let me get you, Andrew. Sure enough. Not to undermine the potential the team has this season, do you think Notre Dame will be a title contender in 26? Will they be able to recover from losing Love, Price, Fields, Pauling, Snead, et cetera, et cetera? I mean, I will say this is the recruiting update. That's why I skipped this question. But I think Notre Dame is at least a playoff contender every year. If Notre Dame has been so good in recent years, but just not had that elite quarterback. Like I'll ask, no, Andrew, you're good, brother. When's the last time Notre Dame you felt like you really had an elite quarterback? When is it? You've had guys with a lot of talent. Kaiser had a ton of talent, right? Or like these really scrappy, like quarterbacks who also have a ton of talent, but like Ian Book was so good. Who was he going to win you a national title? Who's the last one? I mean, are you going back to like Quinn? Truly elite quarterback. Top draft pick kind of guy. Kaiser went pretty high, but I mean, maybe your answer is Kaiser. Clausen, Big says. Quinn, K-Max says. But it's Carr. So if you have Carr, you have that elite quarterback, and Carr's only going to get better, as Big says. That should make you a title contender in 26. Put a good O-line around him, which I do expect Notre Dame to have. Develop and reload at the receiver position. Even Price and Love go. Obviously, Love's going to go, but I think Price should go as well. But you're going to have, hopefully Aeneas Williams, assuming that, he's content with his role right now and that, he is expecting big things next season. I think Nolan Stange Jr. is going to be ready next year. Like the running back room is going to be good. You trust what Jalen Sider's got there. I think the offense will be rolling, and I think the defense will be just reload. So I do think that Notre Dame should be, but somewhere between making the playoff and contending for a title, like whether that's getting bounced early or making the title game, whatever. I think that's where they live. I think they're an annual team that makes the playoff. Then it's just like, how deep of a run do you make? So 53 minutes solo show. How about that? If you're still tuned in and you're watching this back on YouTube, I want you to comment. I watched the entire video. I would love to see who watched the entire show back on YouTube. Maybe you just cheated and you skipped till the end. Maybe you didn't watch the entire thing, but just let me know. Let me know. Would love to know. Long show to go solo, but I really do appreciate it. I hope that you guys found it some interesting, or you learned something. I know I'm not the most polished speaker in the world. I can be a little goofy. But I really hope that you guys learned something or found it entertaining or somewhere in between. I would ask, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Of course, all of our YouTube content is free. We don't put any YouTube content behind the paywall. There's nothing you got to buy. So we do ask, just hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the channel for more content. And I do ask you to go to blueandgold.com for so much more coverage on Notre Dame. Of course, wrote this visitor preview article. Just give a little bit away. Wrote this visitor preview article for our Blue and Gold subscribers. I think that you guys will like that. So that is going to do it for this show. Again, hit the thumbs up if you have not done so yet. DE, K-Mac, Andrew, Biggs. Thank you guys all for being here live with me. And yeah, we got some more videos to record to post on our channel. So lock into Blue and Gold. Thank you all for watching. Catch you next time. Thank you, Bo.